What he thought was going to be a good morning started grim after this unlucky camper woke up to the sight of a large black bear searching for breakfast. The intense video starts as the man immediately picks up his camera after noticing the curious animal sniffing the outside of his tent.
No.
Despite the large predator being so close to him, the man keeps his calm and even gets the courage to do something that is sure to give you an adrenaline rush. As the brave man stands in a face-off with the bear, it walks up on him, eventually getting only a few inches away from him. Thankfully, the bear eventually leaves him alone after a frightening 10 minutes, prompting him to quickly evacuate the area. On a nice evening in Botswana, two men had their camping trip unfortunately cut short when a curious lion decided to pay them a visit. At first, they quickly pick up their camera after spotting the sneaky predator poking its head out of the bushes up ahead.
He's playing with the pillow now.
Not very tasty.
Yeah, that was a bit scary. Okay, now he's going to go and get my pillow.
Unfortunately for them, the animal suddenly decides to get a closer look of their campsite, most likely looking for something to eat.
Oh, my dear. He doesn't care. Is he taking my sleeping bag? Okay, just drive a bit closer, maybe?
The lion eventually leaves the tent to continue roaming around when the men finally decide that they've seen enough and try to scare it off with their car. The predator finally walks away from the campsite, leaving both men sitting there in disbelief.
During a hiking trip in Saguaro National Park, an innocent woman got locked in an intense face-off with a frightening cougar, and the outcome is freaky. This intense video starts out when the unsuspecting hiker catches sight of an intruder in the trees above her campsite and starts recording.
There's a cougar in the tree above me. I had a feeling, the way those deer were acting.
Refusing to be overcome by fear, this brave woman attempts to scare off the mountain lion by screaming, but it remains unfazed. When yelling doesn't work, she desperately decides to throw stones at the predator, which hopefully won't make it any angrier. Seemingly bored with the confrontation, the animal heads out moments later, leaving the hiker to seek refuge in her tent. A family that was camping in Yellowstone got to meet a terrifying local up close after they failed to stop their dog from barking. This terrifying clip opens with a man telling his son to control their dog's barking in hopes of not angering the bison staring at them from a distance.
Terry, stop! Stop! Terry, stop! Jim, control him! Terry, stop!
They fail to control their dog, which makes the bison walk up to their camp as they watch, trying to remain calm.
Jim, Terry, it's coming! Oh my gosh!
Luckily for the family, the buffalo has its tail down throughout the encounter, signifying a calm and docile nature instead of an aggressive mood. The animal eventually leaves after a while, leaving them unharmed. Seemingly average expedition in Greenland, a group of researchers had their day turn into a living nightmare when they were dangerously approached by a hungry polar bear. Before anything, things seem to be going well as they prepare to leave their camp when they suddenly spot the predator lurking a few hundred feet away.
Oh, he's really checking us out now. If he does get close, we're exactly right for me to use the bear spray because it's downwind. Yeah, I honestly think he's going to walk past us.
After a few stressful minutes, the hungry polar bear unfortunately gets way too close for their liking, and they bravely decide to try and scare it away.
Do you want to put the flare off?
Yeah.
With everyone there now seriously worried for their safety, the animal continues to calmly roam around their camp for a few more minutes, but eventually loses interest and simply swims away from them altogether. While camping in the snowy mountains, a man and his loyal companion became the target of a double grizzly bear attack. At the beginning of this video, we can hear the man screaming at the top of his lungs to prevent his poor dog from approaching the bears up ahead.
Rhino, get over here! Get over here, Rhino! Rhino! Rhino, come here! Rhino! Come here!
He calls his dog several times, but to no avail. He then proceeds to walk closer to his dog, despite the predators being only a few meters away.
Rhino, can you please come here? Rhino, come here. Get over here. Rhino!
His dog doesn't stop going closer to them, so the man, left with no other choice, runs to his dog in order to tie it to a leash.
Well, smart bears. Rhino, get over here. All that noise, jeez.
Luckily, no one was harmed during the encounter, and they both returned to their tent, as the bears are nowhere to be seen. A peaceful campsite in Yellowstone campgrounds was quickly turned into a place of disaster after a new and unexpected camper joined in on the fun. This clip shows a man walking back to his camp, when all of a sudden the camera reveals something waiting menacingly for him. Despite seeing the large bison, the man, with his friends following closely behind him, continue to walk towards their spot slowly. Bison are confident and tough animals that react to perceived threats aggressively, so it comes as no surprise when it decides to do this. Thankfully, the bison only bluff charges and leaves right after the incident. Cold, windy day in Russia. Two men had their camping trip cut short when a curious polar bear unfortunately decided to pay them a visit. Originally, they quickly pick up their camera after spotting the sneaky predator slowly approaching their campsite from up ahead.
Och så mitt i frokosten då, här. Nej, vänta lite. Den ju svær.
With the predator refusing to leave them alone, one of the men suddenly comes up with a solution to hopefully scare it off. Luckily, the animal gets the message and ends up running off back into the wild. This unlucky camper went through a real-life nightmare after he saw two large and hungry lions right outside his tent. The clip starts off intensely as it shows a camper inside his tent attempting to scare off the two large predators, trying to make him their dinner. The animals keep harassing him by poking the tent with their sharp claws and getting their faces in front of the tent door. Despite it being the only thing keeping the lions from reaching him, the man repeatedly opens the tent door, taunting the predators even more. Thankfully, the lions eventually leave him alone, enabling him to go outside and escape. While camping in Alaska, two men from the Boreal Stories YouTube channel had a sudden visit from a huge grizzly bear that didn't quite turn out as planned. As the beast walks out from the forest up ahead, both men stand there in utter shock and disbelief of what they're seeing.
He's still like there.
Unfortunately for them, though, the curious animal decides to fiddle around their camp and begins chewing on one of the men's expensive shoes.
Don't videotape. No, you piece of shit. He's like playing with it. What a.
After many frustrating minutes, the bear thankfully moves along, and the men finally get their chance to go check up on the damages.
The shoe, on the other hand, has seen better days. Big chunk out of the heel. He likes the rubber, I guess.
They simply pick up the leftover pieces and go on with their day like nothing happened. This terrifying video begins with the men heading back to their canoe while engaging in a verbal game in an effort to amuse themselves. As they continue playing their game, the camera suddenly gets a glimpse of a terrifying stalker who after a while proceeds to do something frightening.
That's pretty good already, I guess. Not bad. Whoa, bear, bear. Whoa!
Dodging the bear in time, they get into a standoff where the animal refuses to retreat despite their shouting, raising their hands, and at one point even walking up to it.
Hey, yeah, you go, bear. You go. You go. Yeah, that's right.
Thankfully, the sticks they picked up kept the bear from approaching, allowing them to reach their canoe and leaving no one hurt in the encounter. A campsite in Yellowstone National Park instantly became both the site of attraction and horror after a large herd of bison decided to pass through it. The start of the video shows a large herd of bison walking past a campsite while people go out of their tents and cars to witness the dangerous spectacle.
Bison decided to get a little closer.
I don't want to be standing here.
We think that one's the granddaddy.
The deep rumbles of the bison can be heard as the people surprisingly remain calm enough to stay outside, even when one of the animals growls at the man recording.
Maybe it's that one.
Thankfully, despite the tension, the herd manages to pass through peacefully. This next encounter takes place while YouTuber Hiking with Braids and her friends are seen calmly relaxing in their hammocks. Moments later, their rest is interrupted after one of her friends spots something terrifying stalking them.
Oh, hey, there's a giant bear beside us. What? Giant bear beside us. Hey, bear, what you doing? Where? Oh my gosh, get out of here, you little crap.
After seeing the bear, they immediately jump out of their hammocks and make loud sounds in an effort to scare the animal away.
Dude! Get! Go! Get! Go! Get!
Since shouting doesn't seem to work, the women resort to throwing rocks in the animal's direction.
He's not scared. Great. Go! It's a baby. Go! Get out of here! Yeah! I don't want to hit you, but I'm gonna...
After a while, they thankfully drive the animal away and continue their backpacking trip.